My 2004 Onan 7500 QD is overheating. It's not the temp sensor, it's not the thermostat, both have been replaced. All belts look fine and turning properly, fans look fine as well, what I can see of them. The genset is actually overheating. The coolant boils in the reservoir and the pressure causes a hissing/whining sound that escapes through the reservoir overflow. I suspect the issue is an air bubble in the sys.
I'll do all I can to help. How long have you been dealing with this
system? But I've burped it once already, put in about 2 quarts of water and it's still overheated again.
How long has this been going on? And how severe is the problem?
A couple weeks, and it's severe enough that I can't use my genset.
Do you plan on doing the work yourself?
Trying to. I'm not much of a mechanic, but I have a KNCK for learning very quickly. I replaced the temp sensor and thermo myself.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
It overheats at different rates depending on the layout. It ran for at least 10 minutes with just the 110V water heater on, but it only ran a couple more minutes after I turned on both ACs.
Hello, my name is. I am going to assist you with this. What is the full model number of the genset?
7.5 Kaj 11451H.
Are all the enclosure covers in place? They must all be on for proper cooling. Check underneath the genset, at the air intake area. Make sure there is no debris blocking the cooling air intake. If those are not the issue, then you are most likely looking at a partially clogged radiator. It is not common, but it does happen. I usually average one every 3 or 4 years. The radiator is a major pain to replace. The genset most often must be removed from the coach.
I said in my original message that it's not the temp sensor because it was replaced 4 years ago. After everything I did to the genset yesterday, I think maybe it might be bad again. It's really the only thing left unless you have some idea. I changed the thermostat, I burped all the air out of the system, that took 4 tries, I checked the fan belt and it's in perfect condition, and the radiator is no fouled in any way, there's plenty of air movement all around. The radiator was replaced 4 years ago as well. Hard to imagine it's clogged. Anything can happen though, I suppose.
You said the thermostat and temp sensor had been replaced, but you did not say it was 4 years ago. When you say that they were replaced, I have to assume that you just replaced them, and it did not solve the problem. Yes, either of them, or the radiator, could go bad in 4 years. In 4 years, it is not nearly as likely that the radiator would go bad. I would pull both the temp switch and thermostat and test them, or you could just replace them again. But just changing parts like that starts adding up. A radiator does not just get dirty on the outside, they can also plug up on the inside, from rust and scale.
Sorry. In my mind, a temp sensor should last a decade or more. The thermostat was brand new and freshly installed 2 days ago, so I think that's okay. How would I test the temp sensor? I know it involved a multimeter and a pot of boiling water, but do you know the resistance levels relative to temperature it should be reading?
Yes, it would be nice if everything lasts forever, but real-world fact is the only thing that does last forever is the grudge your wife holds against you when you have made a mistake. Resistance of the temp sensor should be about 800 to 1000 ohms at room temperature, and decrease rapidly as the sensor is heated up, in water, not with a direct flame.
Thanks for the info. I had originally assumed it was the temp sensor when this all started, but when I took the cover off I could see the nut holding the wire on was loose, so I tightened it up and returned the part. It's really hard to get out. I have to buy a special breaker bar and extension just to get enough leverage on it to break it loose, so I was happy when I found the loose wire and thought I'd fixed it. Guess I celebrated too soon. When the overheating kept happening, I used it as an excuse to change the thermostat, which needed to be done anyway, but I always had it in the back of my head that the sensor was just 4 years old, so I did everything else instead. I contacts you to see if it could be anything else that I wasn't thinking of, a second set of eyes and brains, so to speak. I can vouch that the water pump is working. The water flows quite nicely when the genset is running without the rad cap on. If you can't think of anything else, I'll go with trying to get the temp sensor out and test it, or maybe just go ahead and replace it since what else could it be? Thanks.
If a water pump fails, it leaks. It won't quit pumping. I've been an Onan tech for 17 years and have only ever had to change one water pump. The temp switch is not that expensive. Personally, I would just go ahead and change it, since the old one needs to be pulled for testing, anyhow. Even if it tests good now, what's to say it won't go bad next month?
Yep, you're right. I appreciate the help. Thank you.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.